there. And there we go. 3, 2, and 1. Well, Mayor Wiza, welcome back. Mayor's Monday here at WSAU, WSAU.com. You look tired. Have you been, has it been busy in Stevens Point lately in these last few weeks? You look tired.
It has. And I apologize for looking tired. Thank you for the compliment, by the way.
Indeed.
But
indeed.
it's budget things. So we're wrapping up all of the budget stuff. We've got an election coming up with 4 referendum questions that we need approval on, and of course all of the candidates. And there's been a forum this weekend. We had SpongeBob SquarePants the musical from CWAC, Central Wisconsin Area Community Theater. There was a live hybrid showing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show on Saturday. So yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks.
Which character do you play in the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I wasn't there, so yeah,
I would. No, I don't. I didn't do it. I just went to see it. I attended.
Okay.
No, it's a great group of people. It's kind of cool. They put the movie on the screen, and then on the stage next to it, they act out some of the key scenes in the movie. And I don't want to spoil it for. Well, I guess you're gonna have to wait a whole year now before you can see it again. But they did it last year, and it was a big hit, and they did it again this year at Rookies, and it was another big hit. So I fully believe that they'll keep it going.
Yeah, it's just one of those timeless movies. It's, for me, it's like Major League. You're flipping through the channels, no matter what channel it stays on, no matter how many physical formats or streaming formats of it you have, you're gonna stop and pick it up or whatever scene they're in.
And I don't do the league of Major League, but I do that for Shawshank Redemption.
That too. Yep.
Yeah. So everybody, maybe we should do a study. I think everybody probably has a movie that wherever you're flipping through the channels, wherever you see it, you're going to stop and watch that particular movie. We should do a survey on like the top 10 movies that people do that to.
And you know why this is going to be an important topic, Mr. Wiza? Again, for those people that don't know, Mayor Mike Wiza and we're just on the same wavelength more often than not. But the reason we're going to need to do that is a reason that you brought up before. And that's because we have the election coming up tomorrow. Obviously, it's a very close election here in Wisconsin. The latest polling numbers have everything at a dead heat. You folks down there in Stevens Point have 4 road referendum questions coming up. So yes, when all this is done, we are going to need something silly that we can rally around.
Yes. Something that everybody can participate in, regardless of what hat you wear or what party you're in, or well, maybe we'll just have one party. And we'll call it the pop culture top 10. That's what we'll do. We'll have multiple top 10 things that people can vote on. No discussion. You just have to vote. You can't try and convince somebody that, you should do that for Shawshank, not Major League. Just vote. I think we'll do that.
We're going to do that. Indeed. Now, speaking of the election, again, it feels like we've been talking about this for 3 or 4 months because we have. And your road referendum projects, you've got the information out there for people, but I know you've said that, there's still maybe a sector that doesn't understand the need for this. So once again, go ahead and tell us why these projects are important and why people should inform themselves on these 4 questions in Stevens Point.
Sure. And this comes about because early voting has been happening here at City Hall now for a couple of weeks. Early in-person voting. Of course, that's over now with elections being tomorrow. But I had a discussion with a woman, and we have 4 transportation questions on the ballot. And we're forced to do that because of an August referendum that passed by 31 votes, requiring the city to go to a public vote for any transportation-related project greater than $1 million. Well, we spend more than that every single year on just normal routine work. So 2 of the questions are just normal routine work that we have to now go to referendum to get approved rather than having the council approve it. And that is for road reconstructions and road resurfacing. Resurfacing just takes some asphalt off and we put a new layer on. It's good for another 30 years. Reconstructions take into account everything under the road. So water, sewer, sanitary, or wastewater, and those things, and we build it up and then rebuild the road completely. That's stuff we do every single year, so it's not going to adversely affect anyone's taxes, more so than it already does. The other two are very related to economic development, and again, they're paid for by a TIF, which is Tax Incremental Financing District. Basically, the businesses within that district pay for the improvements. So it's not going to affect my property taxes at all. One is an extension of Badger Avenue, which is out in the East Park Commerce Center. And that is going to run Badger Avenue north from Double H up to about the railroad tracks for a developer that we're working with. If we don't get that road extension, it's very likely we'll lose the development. $20 to $30 million facility, looking at about 150 jobs. The other one in relation to that is a rail sidetrack. Now, it's not going to block any streets because I've heard people say that they block the streets enough. This is so businesses within the business park there can use rail. They have to take the cars off of the normal route, put them on a sidetrack, load them or unload them, and then they reconnect. That's all the back and forth that you see at these crossings. They're adding and removing cars. This is needed, again, for a developer. And none of this is going to happen unless the developer signs an agreement and we come to some sort of agreement in that regard. But the sidetrack is critical. If we don't get approval for the sidetrack, we will lose that developer as well. So these are really important. The woman that I was talking to today said that she doesn't want her property taxes going up. She's sick of spending money on this. So she's voting no on all of them. I would encourage you to really understand it. As a city official, we can't officially, legally tell you how you should vote. But I can stress the importance of all of these. The regular road maintenance will not be able to happen if this referendum fails. And the two projects for that developer that could bring in $20 to $30 million in value, 150 jobs or more, plus all the ones that would come in after that, will likely not happen if these referenda fail. So it's critical that you understand them and that you vote appropriately. And then, of course, there's an advisory referendum on the adult recreational marijuana use. That's your call. That's not going to have an economic impact one way or the other because it's advisory. But vote tomorrow, show up at the polls. And if you have questions today or before you vote tomorrow, by all means, call my office.
Yeah, and where else can people find information on this? I know you've done a couple of campaigns on the city website, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you did some mailers for this as well, correct?
Right. So we did a video with the community development director and the street superintendent or streets public works director. We did a video that's available on our website. There's explanations of each of the 4 questions on stevenspoint.com. I've talked about it at every interview. I've mentioned it at every single meeting we've had. We sent mailers out to all of the registered voters on the August 9th election, as well as all of the students in the dormitories. But clearly we didn't reach everybody yet because I'm still hearing stories about people who don't quite understand how important these referendum are. Even the Southside businesses, Kevin Flatoff, who was instrumental in getting the August 9th referendum through, has given his support because he understands the importance of all 4 of these. And he's gone on record in interviews and open letters stating that he is encouraging a yes vote.
And I think the other thing we should probably touch on is the road work that is going to be completed. This is already included in your tax bill for 2023. In fact, if not for the referendum, Mike, you and I probably wouldn't be bringing it up until maybe mentioning it in passing next February or March or so, when we're looking ahead to when the weather improves and what the city is going to be doing over the summer.
Yep, you're absolutely right. This is normal routine stuff that normally we take care of through the regular channels. But because of that August referendum, we are now legally obligated to go to a public vote on every transportation project, even though that August referendum was directed more specifically at Business 51. None of the projects on the ballot tomorrow are related to Business 51, even remotely. And as I said, even the people who are pushing the referendum are endorsing all four of those questions.
Indeed. So we will have a late night tomorrow, waiting to see where the votes come in from Portage County, and uh, if these pass, will there be champagne in the mayor's office or something like that?
No, but I'll tell you, there's be a big sigh of relief because, as I said, with the normal routine road maintenance stuff, if they fail, we just don't fix the roads next year. And I can tell you there's going to be an awful lot of people upset about that.
Indeed. So we will look forward to seeing where those results come in tomorrow. Again, hard to believe it. It's almost here.
Right.
So residents
Honestly,
again.
I think my mail carrier will appreciate the lighter load on Wednesday.
I would venture a guess that mine would as well. But
Yeah.
again, residents, make your plan, get out there and vote if you haven't done so already. If you have, help your friends and neighbors get out, because again, I have seen too many elections over the years that come down to either a drawing of straws, a coin flip, a roll of the dice
Mhm.
has been used before, or how many fingers am I holding up behind my back? And the last one I'm making up, but I'm sure it's happened somewhere.
Well,
Every election, every
you
time.
left out cage match. I mean, let's not take that off the table right away.
Yeah. Yeah. That there's another way to sell it as well. The octagon. One of the things that your city is going to become known for, and I'm saying this with full confidence because I've seen the projects that have already been put in down there. Your artistic lights along the Wisconsin River. You've got one more coming up here that you would like to, I guess, kind of announce to the people right now. What is the next artistic light pole that will be coming to Stevens Point's riverfront?
So we're calling this one Fish On. So the for those of you who don't know, we take a standard light pole with the big bulb light, and the light acts as the head, and we kind of make it into a person. Andy Vollert is the fabricator. He's been donating his time to making these happen. The first one, we're calling it Singing in the Rain. It's a light pole with an umbrella. If you remember the musical, it's very reminiscent of that. This one we're calling Fish On because it's right by the river. This one is going to depict an angler with a bucket hat and holding a fishing pole, and like they're catching a fish out of the Wisconsin River. We partnered with the Isaac Walton League and some other angling groups that are going to help sponsor the costs of materials. And we should have that one installed by spring. The mounting area is already poured, and we're just going to wait for the fabrication to happen over winter, and we'll get it installed in spring. The next one we have planned, and we don't have a sponsor for it. So if any of your listeners want to sponsor, this one's going to be a lumberjack. So it's going to be a light pole with an axe, like they're chopping down a tree, and try and touch on our lumber history. And if anybody else has any ideas on how to make a light be more personified with some sort of activity, I'd love to hear it. We've got a whole folder that we're starting to collect these future ideas from. And my goal is to have those lights all the way down the Green Circle Trail along the riverfront, so people have something cool to look at.
Indeed, and it's creative as well, and that's something I know that you take a lot of pride in your city. You can go visit Stevens Point on any given afternoon, run into something.
Yep.
Whether that's a piano on the streets, whether that is a new coffee house, or in this case, artistic lights, and you can kind of say, hey, that's something I haven't seen before,
Yeah.
and that's cool.
You know, I stole this from someone. I don't know where they got it from, but I told them I'm laying claim to this phrase, and it may even be the future motto of the city of Stevens Point. The earth without art is just
I like
Think
it.
about it, right?
I like it. Yeah.
EARTH, take out art, you just get
Yeah. I like it. I like it. So we'll look forward to seeing the release of that. I know the first one, ironically enough, it was raining the day that you lifted the curtain on it.
Yes, it was.
And stood there underneath it, christening the lights. So maybe on this one you'll actually have an angler who's catching a fish at the time that you raise raise the curtain on the
Maybe
art.
you and I can go out there and throw a line in the river while they're installing it.
Why not? Why not? You're going to catch a fish before I will, but I'm conceding that right now. I'm not going to be against it. I'm just saying my fisherman skills are lacking.
There you go.
One more thing before we let you go, and another, again, kind of way that you want Stevens Point to have some art, something different in it, but this one has a much deeper meaning behind it. You announced last week, and I want to get the name right on this, the Hometown Heroes banner program. You're going to be partnering with the American Legion Post 6 on this.
Yep.
I know this is something a lot of other cities do, but tell us first off, I guess, what this means for you and the American Legion Post.
Yeah, so we're kind of behind the times on this particular program. These are banners that recognize those who have served in various branches of the military from our community. And lots of other communities have done it. In some cases, they use it as a fundraiser for the VFW or whatever it happens to be. We do a fair job of recognizing our veterans appropriately. We've got several parks that are veterans memorial related. We've got the Armed Services Memorial Bridge. We do Flag Day celebrations, Memorial and Veterans Day services at the band shell. We take a lot of pride in recognizing those veterans. This is one more piece. The city doesn't actually have the resources to put all these things together, but we partnered with Barb McCloy, who is a veteran herself, and she's agreed to do the legwork on this. So if your company or your family or your friends, or maybe it's just a generous donor wants to sponsor a banner, we will put a local veteran of your choice on a banner and display them on brackets on our light poles coming across the Armed Services Memorial Bridge, which some people still call it the Clark Street Bridge or the Highway 10 bridge. Is not Highway 10 anymore, but that Clark Street Bridge. And then as we get more, we're going to move them downtown along Clark Street as kind of a tribute. So you can get more information on that from the American Legion Post 6, or you can contact my office at 715-346-1570, and we'll be happy to put you in touch with Barbara, and she'll tell you everything you need to know about getting it rolling.
And again, this is a veteran of your choice, correct? It can be somebody living or deceased. It could be somebody,
the donor's choice. So it's not my choice. It's not Barbara's choice, but the donor's choice. So, well, for example, my father and grandfather were both in the military. I could choose to sponsor a banner to put one of them or both of them on banners if we wanted to. If a company wants to do it and they just want to be generous, they support veterans perhaps, they could throw it in, and they get to choose which veteran they want to honor. Maybe there's a family that maybe doesn't have anyone in the area anymore, or they can't afford the cost of the banner. That company could then sponsor that person, which would be really cool.
Yes, indeed. And then these will be displayed Memorial Day to Labor Day, and then the family will get to keep the banner thereafter, correct?
Yep. So we plan on having a big unveiling at our Memorial Day celebration in 2023. So we'll have all the banners up, and we will do some sort of very large recognition in conjunction with our traditional Memorial Day services. Invite the sponsors down to Piffner Pioneer Park to help us recognize those veterans. And then they'll be on display through Labor Day, at which point we'll take them down. The families will get them, and then we can do it again next year.
Indeed. Well, it's a great cause. Every city that I know of that's done something like this, the reviews have been absolutely rave. So it's, again, a hats off to you and your city for doing what you do best, finding a creative way to honor those that have served.
Thanks. And if we got a few minutes, or even if we don't, I'm just going to take the time. We're coming into the holiday season, so we're kicking off the downtown holiday shopping season on November 16th with a holiday parade right down Main Street. So plan on it. Bring the kids. We have a really cool way to light the tree. I do this every year. Literally magical. How we light all the lights down Main Street and then the tree at the end. And I do so with my magic wand. And that kicks off the holiday shopping season. The downtown businesses have gotten together. Shop Small Saturday is kind of a nationwide event on the Saturday after Black Friday. But the downtown businesses in Point are making it a longer stretch and making it a little more interactive. So they're running a passport program where on November 26th, you can come down to the square, get your passport booklet, and as you visit the shops downtown, you'll get a stamp. When you're done, turn the stamps in, and they give you about a week and a half. You turn your stamped book in, and you could win prizes just for shopping in Point.
It's easy as that.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
Indeed. Well, Mayor Wiza, we always appreciate the time. I look forward to chatting again before the year is over. One more time for 2022.
All right. Well, you have a good Thanksgiving if we don't talk to you before then.
Absolutely. You as well.
All right. Bye-bye.